is the only agenda item, right?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and get started. Tori, audio check.
For the State of California Executive Order N-29-20, this meeting is being held telephonically. All public comment were received by either email or voicemail as noted in the agenda. Commissioners, if you would please mute your microphones till called upon for comment or vote. Now I will let Chairperson White open the meeting.
Okay, we will call the meeting to order. Tori, roll call.
Chairperson White. Vice Chairperson Christensen. Commissioner Wright. Commissioner Hollingsworth.
Here.
Commissioner Nixon.
Here.
Commissioner Wright and Vice Chairperson Christensen are absent, but we do have a quorum. Thank you.
Let's do the pledge to the flag. Hopefully everyone has one physically. So I will read that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, was there any oral or written communication?
We did not receive any comments by voicemail or email. Thank you.
Item number 2, the minutes for the regular meeting. Is there a reason those were not on consent this time? Was there anything for us to consider?
We didn't have them on consent since we just had the one item, so we'll just go ahead and vote on it.
Okay. So, are there any comments regarding the minutes? Commissioner Hollingsworth.
No. I vote yes. Are we voting?
Not yet. We're just any comments on it. Commissioner.
No.
Hollingsworth said no, and Nixon.
No.
No. Okay, and I don't have any comments. Okay, so now we can have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 13th meeting.
I move we approve the minutes of July 13th.
I'll second them. I wasn't at the meeting, but I can second them.
So now we'll take a roll call vote. All in favor, Commissioner Hollingsworth,
Yes.
vote, let's see, and Charles White, I will vote yes. Anyone abstaining or against? Okay, Commissioner Nixon, I didn't get your vote.
Oh, I couldn't hear you, Charles. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm having difficulty hearing you also, Charles.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It must just be a bad connection on my phone.
That's
So
better.
This was a roll call vote to accept the minutes, and I got Hollingsworth and my vote, but I did not get Nixon's vote.
Okay. I vote yes.
Okay, so let the record show it was 3 in favor of approving the minutes. Okay, item number 3 is the architectural design and site plan review, number 202007, Tehachapi self-storage. We will consider adopting a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Tehachapi approving architectural design and site plan review number 2020-07, subject to conditions of approval. I believe Kim is going to make the staff report.
Yep, that is correct. Hi, everyone. Kim here. The one agenda item that we have for tonight is from the applicants of Tehachapi Self-Storage. I am going to flip to page 3 of the staff report. If you look at the figure 1, this self-storage is on the north side of Tehachapi Boulevard, just west of where the Kmart used to be. There is a real estate office right next door to that, and next door to that is the doghouse soon. So that is where the project is at. The applicant is proposing to build a 73,000 square foot self-storage building. It's on 4 acres. It is phased out into 2 different phases, with phase 1 surrounding the perimeter, and phase 2 in the future will have a 3rd building where RV parking is proposed in phase 1. Let's see. Let's move on to page 4 of the staff report.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
This is Commissioner Hollingsworth. Isn't there also a building in the front, an auto repair? At the front part of that parcel, or no?
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So
so
does-
moving,
Sorry, Kim, I have a question. So does the tire store continue to operate, or is that going to become part of this project?
it's going to continue to operate.
And they're
So
moving
this
the
project
caboose?
will be behind that.
Okay, Kim, why don't you continue, and then let's hold our questions until she finishes.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so let's move on to page 4. There is a picture of the site plan in figure 2. If you guys want to take a look at that. It breaks it down into building A and building B and building C, so it shows you phase 1 and phase 2 of development. The project is zoned M1 light industrial. The architecture that the applicant has chosen to move forward with is really considered a contemporary or modern architecture. We're using cool colors in here of orange, blue, some grays, Medici ivory, champagne gold. The elevations are figure 3, or if you want to move forward, figures 3 and 4 are the front elevation and also the interior elevations of where the self-storage units are. So the massing looks good, the colors look good. We have awnings on there, canopies, some corrugated metal, and some other things, just so that it doesn't look very monotonous. Moving on to page 6 of the staff report. So parking for self-storages are unique in that even though the zoning code requires that we have a 1 to 1,500 parking ratio, if we follow the zoning code, we're required to have 45 parking stalls on site. However, self-storage facilities don't work in the way that other industrial uses work. The reality is that tenants will be coming and going and parking right in front of their stalls in order to load or unload, and they won't be there for very long. So the 45 parking stalls, if you line everybody up, if you take a look at figure 5, the red line is where everybody would be able to parallel park right in front of their storage units. We don't anticipate that all 45 would be there at the same time, but you can accommodate that many vehicles. So we do, at the staff level, consider parking to be adequate for this. There's also a bike rack up in the front where the office is. You can kind of see it in green in figure 5 up at the front. Moving on to airport compatibility, the site is actually just outside zone C of the Tehachapi Municipal Airport. So there are no issues there. Signage has not been submitted, but we will condition for that later. Same with lighting. Moving on to page 8, the plant palette is proposed in figure 8. Figure 7 shows you the conceptual landscaping plan. The applicant is required to provide about 17,000 square feet of landscaping, and they are proposing about 21,000 square feet. So we require 10%, they're giving us 12% of total landscaping. That also includes some landscaping on the back side of the project site where there is a retention basin proposed. If you move along to page 9 of the staff report, there's your plant schedule there. And then in the next section, you'll see that there's fencing proposed. There is a security system proposed as part of this project. There is a security gate at the front that will provide specific access to tenants to get in and out through keypads. And on the back side of the property, we'll have wrought iron fencing and a retaining wall for that retention basin. The last condition is that we will require the applicant to screen all of their mechanical equipment. And with that, staff recommends a resolution of the Planning Commission to approve AD and SPR 2020-07, subject to the attached conditions of approval in Attachment A. And I am available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any public comments on this item?
We did not receive any public comments.
Okay, now for the commissioner's comments, we'll start with Commissioner Hollingsworth.
Oh, it looks like they're pretty well set up there, but I did have a question. So what kind of fencing goes around the outside? Am I missing? I just wasn't clear on what that was.
On where
Obviously, they're going to be fenced. Well, they're going to be fenced in completely around, I would imagine, right?
Well, it's the
or
building.
Or the buildings? Oh, the buildings serve as the walls? Okay, all right.
Correct. Yeah, you can see that on figure 2.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Okay. No, I have no other comments on that.
Okay, Commissioner Nixon, did you get your question answered satisfactory, or do you have other questions?
No, I still have a couple of questions. So if the tire store is going to continue to function as a business, is the caboose still going to be there as well?
No, that's getting taken out.
Okay. And there is a U-Haul truck rental storage of vehicles and stuff in conjunction with the tire store. And I know there have been times where there has been a lot of congestion around there for parking. So is the entrance and everything, is that going to be separated from all of that?
Well, it's kind of hard to answer because it's the same applicant and there actually is a lot line adjustment. You can kind of see the boundaries of the lot line adjustment in figure 2, but the idea is that that business will continue in the bottom left-hand corner of the figure 2 exhibit. So that will still function. And there should be enough parking to cover that because there's enough parking now and that doesn't change.
Okay. And then I know that, I know this project is needed. I mean, there's always storage needed up here, and I know that the applicants will do a really good job. But we also have the property that's next to it and, where the doghouse is and that antique store. And this weekend, they had a huge parking lot sale that people were parking everywhere. I mean, it was insane on the boulevard. So I think that that's going to need to be addressed as well at some point. But for this project, I think they've addressed everything. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. I have a question, something you brought up, the lot line adjustment on figure 2. I'm not sure, you said it was faintly visible. What is the lot line adjustment that's being made?
You know, I think there is a condition that speaks to that, actually. If I can find it, I'll read it for you real quick. Okay, so there is a condition. It's kind of vague. If you go to the last page of attachment A, it is condition number 35. The applicant shall execute a lot line adjustment sufficient to align the property lines to the project prior to occupancy. Now, if you go back to figure 2, you can kind of see it, actually. You know what? There might be a better reference to it. If you flip to attachment D in your staff report, in attachment D of the staff report, the second page is a larger scale version of the site plan, and you can see note 26, the existing property line. It says to be consolidated. So there are 2 APNs there that they're going to adjust so that you don't have lot lines going through that building B. Go up, there you go. Yeah. Oh, it's this right there. Does everybody see that note? It's note number 26.
Okay, I'm at the attachment D, the drawing. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, it's the second page of attachment D. The exhibit is called preliminary site plan, sheet A2. Yeah, it's the second page after, it's the second page of attachment D. So under the preliminary site plan, keynote number 26 talks about an existing property line, and it calls it out. If you look at building B, behind the associated real estate, there's a box with the number 26 there. If you look at it, it's really referencing a rectangle that more or less encompasses the associated real estate. That lot line is what's going to be consolidated and moved as part of this project.
Okay. So the associated real estate building is a different parcel from this project?
Right now it is, yes.
And it will remain that, or does a lot line adjustment incorporate the 2 parcels?
It will incorporate the 2 parcels, and we will consider both parcels as one larger project. So the associated real estate is already there and will stay there, and the self-storage will then move in on the same parcel once it's merged.
Okay. Yeah, that seems to explain it. Okay, my other question, the retention basin, is that currently in existence, or is that going to be built?
That is going to be built as a condition of this project, as a function of this project.
So the retention basin will actually be on the property and not on public property.
Correct. This is on the property, and will also be fenced in.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, those really were my only 2 questions. So now I think we could have a motion to accept or Yeah, the motion would be to accept architectural design and site plan review number 2020-07, Tehachapi self-storage, adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission, the City of Tehachapi approving architectural design and site plan review number 2020-07, subject to conditions of approval. Is there a motion?
I'll make
I'll
the
move.
motion.
Oh,
Kim.
okay, I'll second. This is Linda.
Okay. Motion made by Kim, seconded by Linda. And so now we'll take a roll call vote on that. All in favor of the motion, Hollingsworth,
Yes?
Nixon,
Yes.
and White, yes. Okay, so the record can show that the three commissioners present voted aye. Okay. Are there any commission announcements or reports? We'll start with Hollingsworth.
I have no reports.
Okay. Commissioner Nixon.
I just have to have two things that I would like staff to look into, and one thing, possibly one of those two, to bring a report back to the next meeting. The first would be, as I mentioned previously, the parking lot sale that's taking place at the antique store on the boulevard.
Okay.
Next to the doghouse. I mean, I think it's great that they're doing it, but this time versus last time, they've kind of expanded it a lot bigger, and people were parking on both sides of the boulevard and going across the street and over in the Kmart parking lot. And I mean, it was just kind of chaotic. And from a safety standpoint, I think that we need to look at how often they plan on doing them and how much bigger they're going to let it get.
If I can add that they did apply for a permit to do that sale. So they do have that on file with us.
Yeah, but they expanded it, probably about twice as many vendors as they had the last time.
Okay.
And so I think
look.
it's just just keep an eye on it. That's all I'm.
Yeah, and I
suggesting.
didn't realize they were having vendors there. It was our understanding it was just their business.
Oh, no, you have to reserve a spot and pay to be there.
Oh, okay. We'll definitely look into that.
Okay. And then the other thing, I know that the railroad corridor safety projects are going on, and everything's looking great. I was wondering, I know the city got a grant to do a lot of that, and that work was done, and now the railroad's coming back and removing a lot of it. So how did that timing get kind of out of kilter?
You know, I actually don't know the answer to that.
So,
but I can find out.
I was just wondering, because I know they did a whole bunch of work at Denison and Tehachapi Boulevard, and now that crossing's closed again for several weeks, and the railroad's going to rip it all out. So I would just like to have information on, what the city paid for and now why the railroad is redoing it all.
Okay, I'll find out and I'll let you know.
Okay, great. And that's all I have.
Cool.
Okay. The only thing I had, I heard rumors that Pacino's has been rented, as well as the space where Haddad's had the sports bar, and I wonder if there's any information as to what the tenants are going to be. Kim, do you have any information on that?
Yeah, the Pacino's is now going to be a Round Table Pizza. And
Oh, okay.
where the sports bar used to be is now a new cafe called Four Seasons. Four Seasons Cafe.
Okay. All right. So those are the only comments I had. Do we have any further information from not Daryl, but Kenny Wright as to whether his escrow was going to close or not? Kim, I don't know if you were at the last meeting, but
Said that he had to find a house outside the city, and that if his escrow closed, he would be resigning. And I just wondered if you had any news on that.
This is Tori.
Not
Jay
yet.
did tell me he talked to Kenny, and his escrow hadn't closed yet, but that I think it was closing soon. But he's been busy with the fire season also, so he that's why he's not here today. But he probably will be resigning soon.
Okay, I just wondered. So thanks for that update. Okay. From the Development Services Department, are there any reports, Kim, or any comments?
No.
Nope. Okay. Well, that was a short meeting. It's 6:31, so we'll go ahead and adjourn.